Quite special for me. I usually don't have an audience as young as you are. I'm really, really happy to see you in front of me. We're going to talk about a quite interesting topic about Shaolin. Who knows about Shaolin? Whoever heard about Shaolin? Hands up. Oh, okay. Who heard about Kung Fu, the martial arts of Kung Fu? Okay, more of them. That's what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about martial arts, but I'm going to tell you how to win without a fight and why you cannot win fighting. But before that, we are here in a literature festival. Who of you wants to write a book? Hands up. Nobody wants to write a book? Okay. I can tell you it's a fascinating profession to write a book. But everybody always asks me, did you always wanted to become a writer? And people say, of course you wanted always to become a writer. And I will tell you the truth, I never wanted to become a writer. Never, ever. My original profession is I'm a photographer. And I always excluded one thing in my life. I always said I will never, ever write a book. And it was in 2007 when a publisher came to me and they asked me to write a book. And I said, okay, give it a try. What shall I do? If they ask me, I will give it a try and I will write a book. And this was my first book. It was Shaolin, about the fighting monks we'll tell you about. And now I'm here in India and presenting the book in front of you. I never thought about that. I never expected that because I always said I cannot write books, so I don't even need to try it. Till now I wrote 14 books. And the book even brought me till here to India. So just what is Shaolin? Shaolin is a very, very famous monastery in the mountains of China. And the monastery is famous for bringing up the philosophy of Zen, which is a kind of Buddhism. And it is even more famous for developing the martial arts of Shaolin Kung Fu. So whatever martial arts went over the world, be it Karate Do, it's all influenced by Kung Fu. And so maybe you ask yourself, okay, why is he talking here in India about Chinese martial arts? Actually, without India, 4 things that would have made possible Shaolin and that would have made possible these books would be missing. First of all, you all heard about Lord Buddha, no? You know who Buddha was, yeah. You know that Buddha, he was Indian. He wasn't Chinese, he was Indian. So he was born in the north of India, what is today Lumbini, what is Nepal today, but he was from India, number 1. Number 2, you maybe heard about Bodhidharma. Yes, so Bodhidharma was a guy from the south of India, near Chennai, somewhere there. He also was Indian. And Bodhidharma, he knew the martial arts of Karalipayat, which was developed in Kerala. You heard about Karalipayattu? Yes. The famous Indian martial arts, the origin of everything. And then there is the Indian publisher, my publisher Amaryllis. Even without this publisher, I would not be here. Okay, so the story goes that Buddha developed the idea of Buddhism, the idea in a way of not being greedy. And I just wait 1 second to let them take their seats. But while they take their seats, let's talk about a bit. So, what did Buddha say? What was Buddha's idea? Who knows that? Buddha said, if you do not want to suffer, don't be greedy, and accept things the way you are. Buddha simply said, we are unhappy because we want things in a different way. So we are here and we say, oh, why I'm here and I don't want to be here, but there is nothing we can do at the moment we are here. So we always want things in another way than they are. That was the idea of Buddha. He said, the moment you accept things the way they are, you can change them in a second, but at the moment they are the way they are. And as I told you, Buddha, he was from the north of India, and all his sayings and whatever his teachings, they went to the south of India. And Bodhidharma, he was good at martial arts, he heard about that, and he said, okay, we need to spread Buddhism to China. And so he made all the way to China, probably by boat, nobody knows that, but very probably he went by boat. And then he came to China, and he came to a city that was called Luoyang. And Luoyang by that time was the capital of all China, and Bodhidharma said, okay, I want to spread Buddhism. And the emperor said, it's okay, but there is no reason to do that. Buddhism is here already. And he told Bodhidharma that there was an old monastery in the mountains, and he said, this monastery, there is nobody there, so you can use this monastery. And the name of the monastery, it was Shaolin. So if you will see the book afterward, you will see a Chinese character on it. You will find the book in the bookstore. And the first character is the character for Shao. Shao means few, but it also can mean young. And then there is a second character, which are two trees. And two trees are a wood in Chinese language. You pronounce it Lin. So Shaolin was the place with the young wood. And the story goes that Bodhidharma, in the search of enlightenment, but he wasn't enlightened at that time, he spent 9 years in a cave. And just imagine sitting 9 years in a cave without moving. Just imagine sitting here in this room for 9 years. That's quite long, no? It's even going to school for 9 years is quite long. So the whole time he sat in the cave. After that he found enlightenment, but he also had physical problems. But he remembered that he knew the martial arts of Kalaripayat, and he said, okay, if people would do that, if they would practice it, they would be even physically fit. And so Bodhidharma, for the first time, combined his knowledge about the martial arts and his knowledge about the power of mind. And what came out was to be known as Chan, or how the Japanese people would call it later on, Zen, another form, a new form of Buddhism. And Bodhidharma's idea was simply that you need to control the power of your mind. And that was the idea he gave to the monks of Shaolin. And when the monks of Shaolin, when they developed the martial arts of Shaolin Kung Fu, their idea was not to fight. When you had Kalaripayat was for fighting. So two guys would fight, one against the other, and the winner would be the winner's people. But in Shaolin they said you cannot win fighting, because the moment you fight and you win, there is one opponent gone, but there will come 5 new opponents. So there is no way to win with a fight. The only way to really win is if you change the whole system, if you change yourself. So the idea of Shaolin is that you learn to fight that well that you do not need to fight anymore, because people say, no, I'm not going to fight him. Did you ever hear about Mike Tyson, the famous boxer? Yeah, who knows Mike Tyson? Hands up. Okay, those who do not know Mike Tyson, just Google him. He's an impressive boxer. I remember his first fight that ended after 4 minutes with technical knockout. So everybody was surprised, because the fight was intended to last, I think, 12 rounds. After 3 rounds, the fight was over. And that was the way Mike Tyson did it. And nobody who knows Mike Tyson would fight him, because people know he is so strong, there is no reason to fight him. So winning without a fight means 2 things. It means that you are so strong that nobody is going to fight you, simply. People say, okay, no, I better let him or her alone, there is no reason to do that. But it's not enough. You can be the strongest man on earth, or the strongest woman on earth, if you don't know that, if you're not conscious of your strength, it's lost. So the monks of Shaolin, they realized whatever is not in our consciousness, that is the key to everything. If we are not conscious of our strengths, they are lost. They are simply lost. Usually, when I do this speech, but I present a photo, but now I will ask you to imagine it. And the photo is an elephant, a big, huge elephant. All of you know what an elephant looks like, no? Would you fight an elephant, by the way? No. But this huge elephant is on his knees. And beside the elephant, there is a young lady. And I always ask myself, why is this huge elephant, this strong animal, why is this animal on his knees, on its knees? There is no reason. I mean, the elephant could fight all of us without any problem. But you know what? The elephant doesn't know it. The elephant in that moment does not know how strong it is. There is no reason for him to be for it to be on its knees. So it is on its knees. So the question is not how strong you are. The question is how strong you believe that you are. You can be even the weakest person in the world. If this person believes that he or she is the strongest, nobody will fight him or her. But the strongest person who believes that he or she is the weakest, everybody will fight him or her. So the idea is that everything starts in your mind. And it was one of the ideas even Bodhidharma had and these monks of Shaolin. So just to give you an idea how long the monks of Shaolin developed the martial arts of Kung Fu. It was more than 1,500 years. Just imagine Apple developing the iPhone for 1,500 years. That would be pretty good, no, the outcome. So they developed martial arts for 1,500 years, always with the aim to become better, to become stronger. But they said, even if you're the best fighter, you need to work with your brain, with your mind, what I call mind power control. Because there is one general idea. There is no power from outside. Even if you see that, even if you say that somebody could harm you, whatever, all the harm always you do to yourself, because there is no possibility to bring power from outside. Power always comes from inside us. If it would be possible, just to give you an idea, if we could enter power, if we could fill somebody with power, we could keep alive somebody forever. But it's not possible. Somebody who doesn't have the power to live anymore will die. Be it a plant, be it an animal, be it a human being, there is no possibility to give power from the outside. Power comes from within. Okay? That is true for the power that keeps you alive, but it is also true for the power that hurts you, for example. Nobody else can hurt you than you yourself. So people always say, okay, but it's not true. I mean, somebody says, Bernhard, you are an idiot. So you cannot accept it. Because if somebody would say that I'm an idiot, how can I accept it? But now I ask you, is it really the problem that somebody says that I'm an idiot? The problem is that I understand it, no? If I talk to you in German language, and I say something very bad, but you don't understand it, you just laugh, because you don't understand it. You have no problem with that. But I say it. So the question is not what people do. The question is what you accept to hear, what you accept to understand. Once again, it's not the problem what people are talking. It's not the problem what people are doing. It is the problem what you are prepared to accept. And there is one more thing. People always say, okay, we make decisions based on facts. So there is a fact, things are like this or like that, and that's what we base our decisions on. Is that true? Do we make decisions based on facts? Never. We always decide on the basis what we think that facts are. Would we always decide on facts, there would not be any misunderstanding. You say something to me, I say something to you, and you get it wrong. You don't hear well, whatever the reason might be. It's a language problem. You understand something else. And you got angry. So how could he say that to me? But I didn't say it. It was only you who understood it. So now you're getting angry has nothing to do with any facts. It is only the facts you create. It is only the facts you create in your mind. You say, I heard Bernhard saying this. So he said something against India, something against me, something against whatever. Bernhard didn't do that. So reality is always something that is created in your mind. And that is quite helpful when I want to win without a fight. Because the moment I create my own reality, I can also change it. If somebody, for example, says something bad to me or whatever, or curses me or whatever, I can say I didn't hear it. And that is, in a way, That is the power of consciousness. This is the power of our mind. I don't know whether you ever thought about that, but we as human beings, we can think about our thinking. So if I have an opinion, I can ask myself, why do I have this opinion? Why do I think, let's say people tell me, oh, don't go to India. India is so dangerous and it's so, I don't know what. So I might not go to India. But maybe somebody doesn't want me to go to India. But I will say it's a fact that India is dangerous. I don't feel that India is dangerous, don't get me wrong. But people could influence me because they could create a reality in my head, and I would not say, okay, why do I think that? Indian people, they are so dangerous and whatever, and so unfriendly. They are the opposite. Indian people are very, very friendly. So I could ask myself, why do I have this idea? And then I would say, wait a moment, somebody told me. And probably, or maybe this person doesn't want me to do that. And it's the same when I say I want to write a book. People say, oh, you cannot make any money with books, you will not sell books, and what will you do when you're old, and what will you make a living from, and whatever. Believe me, you can make money from books or from whatever your dreams are. But people don't want you to live your dreams. So what they will do is, they will create a reality in your mind, in your head, that works against you. And just because you do not ask yourself the question, why do I believe that? You say it's a fact. Yeah, I cannot make a living with books, so I will not write any books or in IT or whatever. But the truth is, you can make a living on whatever you want. You can live your dreams. I've always been living my dreams. And I know that many, many, many people try to influence me. So the question is, why does this work? Because we have doubts. Just imagine that you want to make a new project. You want to make something at school. Makes no difference. You want to make something, and you have an idea, and you say, yeah, that is exactly what I want to do. And now you ask all your friends, what do you say? Is it a good idea that I do it? And your friends say, yeah, of course, it's a very good idea. Just do it. Everybody says that will be a huge success. And then you're not sure anyway, and you ask somebody else who doesn't know you. And you say, this is my idea, what would you say? And this person says, you know, I do not know you, but I don't think that will be a success. So all of your friends, 20, 30, 50 of your friends say, do it, it will be successful. One person says it will not be a success. So whom do you believe? The one person who says no. Of course, because that is your real opinion. Otherwise you wouldn't ask anybody. If you would be convinced, you wouldn't ask. So the main thing you need to know is, if you want to win without a fight, if you want to be successful, if you want to be successful in life, the energy always shows your real intention. Sounds crazy now. What I want to say is that we always invest energy in things that we think that are possible. So, for example, if I want to write a book, but I say I will not have any success with writing a book, how much energy will I invest in writing this book? Much? If I think it's not possible, the book will have no success. Do you think I will invest much energy? No. I will invest my energy in avoiding failure. It's that easy. So I will do everything, or if I think the speech I will deliver here, nobody will be interested in that speech. So I will simply avoid the speech because I don't want to deliver a speech and feel that nobody is interested in it. So my energy will go in avoiding failure and not in delivering the best speech possible. But once again, it's in my head. I remember, I think it was 20 years ago, when I started working as a speaker, I will never forget it. And it was my first speech in front of a large audience. And I think people were interested, I don't know. The only thing I remember is I focused on a guy who sat in the audience with his mobile phone, like this, and he always had his mobile phone and he did something, he played with his phone. And I said, damn, what I'm doing wrong. Why isn't that guy interested in what I'm talking about? There were about 1,000 people. And I did not see 999 people who were really interested listening. No, I only saw this guy with the mobile phone. And you know what? Suddenly the guy took his mobile phone, put it in his pocket, got up, and left the hall. And I said, wow, I think I failed. I mean, he is not interested. I have no idea who this guy was. And I really struggled on the stage, and I said, okay, maybe I should change the speech, whatever. Okay, I finished the speech. Afterwards, this guy came to me, and I said, I want to thank you for this great speech you delivered. And it was really, really, really interesting. And I really need to apologize. I know that you saw that I was on the phone, but my girlfriend, she was pregnant, and she was about to give birth. So that was why I went out to call her on the phone. So it was my reality was the total opposite of the reality on the one hand side. And on the other hand side, I focused on the one guy that didn't seem to be interested, and I did not see all the others that were interested. And this is also something I learned, and I can tell you, you will always see what you focus on. If you focus on failure, you will see failure. If you focus on success, you will see success. It's that easy. So Shaolin and the monks of Shaolin, they, as I say, they told us that everything starts in your mind and it ends in your mind. Things are possible if you say they are possible, and things are not possible if you say they are not possible. Now, just to get you a bit up, I want to give you an example and to show you something. Don't move, just imagine for the moment, okay? Don't do any physical movement, even if I do it, only I do it, you will not do it. You just imagine that you take your right hand and make a circle to the right, okay? Just imagine that, yeah? Imagine yourself standing up and doing this, okay? And now try to imagine that you take your right foot and circle it to inwards. At the same time, you circle with the hand outwards and with the foot inwards. Okay, I cannot do it. I only can tell you to imagine it. So now try to imagine whether you can do it. Circle outwards with the right hand, and at the same time circle the foot in the opposite direction. Okay? Some of you will be able to imagine that, and some of you won't be. Now, when you know whether you are able to imagine or not, just get up and try to do it. And I say, those who were able to imagine are able to do it. Those who could not imagine it cannot do it in reality. Just try it. Just get up and try it. But like this, yeah? So bend your body and do it like this, and do the... If you were able to imagine it, if you were able to do it in your head, you can do it in reality. Those who could not imagine it cannot do it. Right? Anybody who could imagine it and cannot do it? No. Okay. Just an exercise for the evening or whenever. Just to give you an idea how our minds limit our success and our possibilities. When you want to do push-ups, you know what push-ups are, no? Those ones, yeah, the ugly ones. When you want to do push-ups, and even if you usually are able to do, let's say, 20, and you start doing push-ups, and you say, I will do 10 push-ups, I bet you will not be able to do more than 10. Because you start limiting, in your mind, you start limiting it to 10. And you do 8, 9, and you do the last one. If you say, I want to do 100 push-ups, what will happen? Will you do 100? No, of course not. But you will do 25. Because you do not limit yourself. That's what we call thinking big. It's quite interesting, and many people don't believe it till they don't see it themselves. We can limit ourselves whatever we want. We can say, I do not want to do more than this or more than that, and it will work. Our mind will immediately limit us, even our body, everything. If you say, I cannot imagine that, it will not work out. And what I wanted to show you with this exercise, with the arm and with the foot, it was not a very useful exercise, because you either can do it or you cannot. But what I wanted to show you is, if you cannot imagine something, so if you want to do a change, for example, and you do not feel well in your mind, you do not see the changed situation, if you don't see yourself successful, it will not work. The first thing, if you want to change whatever, you need to be clear in your mind, you need to see yourself, oh yeah, I'm there, I feel well with the changed situation, and then it will work. As long as you say, no, I don't feel well, that doesn't feel good, I don't want it, it will not work physically. It's the same. So, what I want to tell you is, whatever you want to change, start the change in your mind. Do not believe that you can change something you do not believe in. It will not work, because you will block yourself. The power of mind is so strong, it's so incredibly strong, that it will block you on the one hand side, and it will bring you wherever you want on the other hand side. I remember now, for example, I did not want to come to India now. I heard about COVID and all those stuff and all the restrictions, whatever. And then Rashmi said, hey, come to India to the literature festivals. And I said, okay, yeah, I come to India. I have a reason to come here. It's not my first time, okay? My first time was in 1994, just to give you an idea how long I know your country and how long I love your country. And everything went smooth. So in the beginning, when I said I will not come, I found 50 reasons. There will be the problems with COVID, there will be the problems with the PCR test, there will be the problems with immigration, we will not get the visa, whatever. The moment I decided I will go, everything went smooth, and now I'm here. Okay, just to give you one more and one last example, how strong the influence of your minds is to your reality. Just imagine you sit in this room alone, with nobody here, only you, and you play a piece on the piano or on whatever instrument you want. Okay, a very, very difficult piece, but you trained it and you're alone and you play it. So how do you feel? You're alone in this room. Are you nervous? Even if you're alone? No. No, you're alone. There's nobody listening. So you play this piece, and the moment you end it, something very strange happens. The walls disappear, there were curtains, and 10,000 people around you applaud. So there was a big applause, and people say, wow, how great was that? And you look and say, oh, there are 10,000 people around me. And suddenly somebody comes and says, Mr. and Mrs., thanks a lot for that. Might we ask you to play that piece once again? So you say, yes, but how do you feel? Are you nervous now? With 10,000 people around you? I will be. But why? It's not because of the 10,000 people. The 10,000 people were there before too. The only difference was you did not know it. So it's only in your mind that now you know that there are 10,000 people. And now I will go a step further. Just imagine that somebody would enter this room and would say, Mr. Bernhard, please come out immediately. In front of the door, there are gathering 5,000 people who are talking very badly about you and this bald guy, and he only talks bullshit and whatever. So, do you think I would be upset if somebody tells me that people are against me? Of course. So, what I do, I get up and I run outside, and there is nobody. And that's how mind works. It's enough that I tell you that things are in a certain way to change your reality. And once again, it is your job to change reality back. So people usually, at this point, start asking me if I'm talking about positive thinking. You heard about positive thinking? Yes, okay. So I will tell you two things. I'm a very, very big fan of positive thinking, because for me it's the only way you can think. But I'm a very, very big opponent. I really do not like the idea to see something good in everything bad. So now you might ask yourself, so how that? Either positive thinking or not seeing something good in everything bad. Actually, the problem is, if we try to find something good in everything bad that happens, there will never be change. Never. Just imagine I destroy my trousers. So the trousers here have a hole. If I would do it like this and I see something good in everything bad, I say, okay, but now the trousers, they are erupted, so they have this hole here, and I'm the only person in the world who wears this special design of trousers. But the problem is I will never repair them, or I will never change them, because I see something good in it and I say, okay, I accept it and I'm happy with it. But that could not be the idea. I mean, to have destroyed trousers is not a good idea. So how can I think positive without seeing something good in everything bad? Do you know where the word positive comes from? It's a Latin word. An old language, the Italian people, the Roman people, they spoke Latin. It's a language that doesn't exist anymore. It's like Sanskrit in India, in a way. And there is a word that's called ponere. And the perfect tense of ponere is positus. And ponere means to put. And if I would translate positus into English language, in English it would be put. Okay. So it would be something like put thinking. Doesn't sound well, so that's why we call it positive thinking. But if I give you the word put, is there something good in it or something bad in it? Or what does the word put mean? Just put my phone here. It doesn't mean anything. It's neither good nor bad, no? It's just an action. So positive thinking means that we know what we want. That's all. That we put our wishes on the table, and that we know what we want. That's all. It has nothing to do with good or bad or with judging or with nothing. To put means this is what I want. The negative people, they know what they do not want. It's that easy. Just to give you an idea, I give you an example. Just imagine there are two clients entering a restaurant. The first one is a positive thinking guy. So the waiter says, or the cook says, or the owner says, doesn't matter. So what do you want? And the positive thinking guy says, oh, I would like idli with this masala sauce, but not spicy if possible. And you put some paneer in it. And for drink, I would like the lassi, but not the normal lassi. It should not be that sweet. And you put some banana in it. And chapati. So what will he get? Exactly what he orders, no? Now comes the negative thinking guy. And the waiter says, or the owner says, what do you want? And the negative thinking guy says, oh, I have no idea. What do you have? And the cook goes to the kitchen and says, yeah, there is some masala sauce left from yesterday that should be eaten. No, I don't like masala sauce. Wow. Okay, and then there are some, I see there are some idlis. No, I don't like idlis. No, pooh. And the sweet lassi is left over, should be drunk. No, sweet lassi. No, I don't like the taste. The negative guy, what will he get? Nothing. It's that easy. But did you observe something? That the negative thinking guy, if he would have a choice, he would have had to choose from what the positive thinking guy produced. And of course, the positive thinking guy, the waiter in that case, he did not suggest stuff that would make him lots of work. No, he said, okay, this is left, this is left, this is left, this is left, and it would be good if you would eat that. The main thing you need to know with positive thinking is that a person who thinks negative will always have to choose from what the positive thinking guys produce for him or her. Somebody who thinks negative only knows what he or she does not want. That's all. Just to give an idea how this works in the huge world, There is a company, I mean, there are more than one companies, but there is a famous company, a very famous company, IT company, I give you a hint, that only lives from positive thinking. Now, what company is that? You all know it. Tata, Tesla, yeah. Sorry? Etsil. Okay. It's Google. That's the best example for a positive thinking company. Just imagine what you do. You put a question to Google. You ask a question. Google will produce a couple of results. And you say, no, 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 doesn't seem to exist. So if Google doesn't produce an answer, positive, you don't find it. It's that simple. Because you only know what you do not want. And believe me, many people who are not successful, many people who do not control their mind power, they only know what they do not want. Oh, I'm so unhappy with my life. I say, okay, so what do you want your life to be? I don't know, but not like this. Okay, go to a shop and say, I don't know, I have no idea what I want, but give me something. What will you get? Nothing. If you want to change anything, positive thinking is the only way to do that. Knowing what you want. Otherwise, what should you get? And there is one more thing we can learn from Shaolin. In my book, it's the first principle. I called it the principle of the presence. And you probably heard about it a million times, that we should live in the here and now. No, we should live in the presence and in the present moment and stuff like this. And people hear it and they say yes, yes, and they do no, they don't do it. So why is it so important to live in the moment, or how can this help to do it? For the one hand side, the only moment you have power, practical power to do things, is now. It's useless that maybe tomorrow afternoon you could do something, because you don't even know whether you will still exist then. That's useless. It's a theory. Now, in this moment, I can talk to you. Maybe we could have another talk tomorrow afternoon, but it's not sure. The only thing that is sure is the actual moment. But when it comes to win without fighting, just want to give you an idea. A person who is angry, where does this person live? In the moment? No, in the past. Because you are angry because of something that happened a minute ago, 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. It doesn't happen now. But whenever you travel back to the past, and that's a big problem with our brain. I don't know whether you realize that. But our brain cannot make any difference whether we really experience something, whether we imagine it, or whether we remember it. Just imagine or remember a real bad situation, a situation that made you angry, that made you cry, whatever. The moment you bring this situation back in your brain, all the emotions come back. If you think of any situation that was full of fear, you will feel the same fear again. But it's in the past. It has nothing to do with your actual situation. But our brain does it. For our brain, it makes no difference. And that is why the power of mind is so extremely strong. Because it gives us the same feelings. Just imagine you have to deliver a speech in front of 10,000 people. How do you feel? Probably a bit nervous, no? But it's only your imagination. There is neither 10,000 people, nor is there a speech. So the second thing, if you do not live in the present, is fear. There is no fear of the present moment. Even if you're afraid of dying, you're not dead. You are afraid of what might happen in an uncertain future. But nobody says that it will happen. It didn't happen. You're only afraid what might happen in the future. The moment I live in the presence, I have things under control. I usually say, when people say, I hope things will become better. You know what I say? Whoever needs to hope has lost control. There is no reason for hope. I need to hope the moment I do not have control. When I live in the present, I can control. I can control my actions. I can control where I am. I can control what I do. There is no reason to be afraid of something. But I remember, just for professional reasons, I fly quite frequently. And once I had a long flight, I think it was 10 or 12 hours, and beside me there was sitting a person who was very, 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 very afraid of flying. So this person, 12 hours like this. And then we landed. Nothing happened, of course. And I say to myself, you see, this person lost 12 hours of his life just for a fear that was useless. The moment the plane is going to crash, there is time enough to be afraid, no? So living in the moment, and that is what is one of the most important principles the Shaolin monks told us or teach us. Living in the moment means there is no anger and there is no fear. And the moment you feel one of those two emotions, you know that you're living in the wrong time. Just remember that. The moment you are angry because of something or whatever, you are angry because you made a mistake, okay, but you made a mistake, you cannot change it. And for me, one of the most important things when living in the moment is to accept that there is no if. So the word if is one of the most powerful and the most useless words. And I see that at least the students, you have something to write with you. You have a piece of paper, all of you? Okay. So I just would ask you to use a new page or a piece of paper or to share a piece of paper. All of you needs a piece of paper like this size. So do not destroy. Okay, okay, a blank page, wherever you find space. Yeah, just share it with somebody else. Take it out and share it. So everybody needs only space, only like this piece of paper like this. Yeah. Perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's only that everybody has a piece of paper to write on. Okay. Everybody ready? So now I would like you to take a pencil and a paper, and I give you 1 minute. I will not ask you to tell you. It's something very personal you will write down now, so I will ask nobody to tell it. Just imagine last Sunday there was a lottery and you were the winner and you won 10 million euros. Last Sunday, okay? When there was the lottery drawing, you won 10 million euros. And I give you 1 minute just to write down what would have changed in your life. Okay? If you would have been the winner last Sunday, you would have won 10 million euros. Okay? Just write a couple of words, just imagine that, and just write down a couple of ideas, some ideas, what would have changed in your life. You do not need to read it, okay? It's only for you. Okay, we're not at school here. I see you all writing. Thanks a lot. And now I will tell you something. I stole you 1 minute of your life. You know why? You did not win in the lottery. So you can take this piece of paper and knit it and throw it away. And whenever, from now on, whenever you start living in the past, thinking, oh, what if? There is no what if. It's time you waste. And just to give you an idea why it is totally useless to live in the past, and why it is totally useless to think, oh, why didn't I do it like this, and why didn't I do it like that? Just imagine you play chess, and you play chess against the world champion. I know chess is also from India, that's why it's so complicated. So the world champion, of course, he wins. Even if you're from India, the world champion, he's also Indian, let's say, and the world champion, he wins, okay? But after the game, you start to analyze it, and you say, oh, in the 22nd move, if I would have moved the king to a5, I would have won. And you start thinking, why didn't I see that? I could have won against the world champion of chess. But you see the mistake? You say you would have moved the king to another field. But I'm sure that the world champion, he wouldn't have played the way he played. He would have played differently, and you would have lost anyway. So people who live in the past, people who start thinking, if I would have done things differently, oh, how nicely would they have worked out? They oversee that all your surroundings, all the people surrounding you, they would have reacted on that. So you cannot know, and even if it looks that a way would have led to heaven, if you really would have done it, it might have led to hell. You will never know that. We have 7 more minutes. 2 of them I use to give you one more practical example, what your mind can do, and then we have a couple of minutes for questions. I would like to get you up. I love physical exercises when talking about Shaolin. Okay, be sure you have space in your surroundings without anybody needing a dentist. Okay, so do it very slowly at the beginning. No. You need to turn to the back. Okay, perfect. Now, if everybody has enough space, just do it like this, please. And now turn your upper body to the back till you reach the point where it doesn't go any further. You just fix this point, remember it, and bring your hand back to the front. Like this. Okay. It's okay. Now, hands down, just in your mind. We trained that before. You just imagine, you don't do anything with your hand, please. Okay? You just imagine that you raise your hand, turn your body to the back, you reach the point where it didn't go any further, and now you go further. You see yourself going over this point, it goes more and more and more, and now you go back, you reach this last point, and then you have your hand in front of your body, and you let it down. And now I would like you to raise your hand and try it again and see how much it goes, how far it goes now. Just go back again and see how far it goes now. Does it go any further? Yes. That's the power of mind. Thank you. Buddha once said, and this will be my last quote, but it was the first quote. I was 12 years old when I heard this quote of Buddha, who once said, "The mind is everything. You are and you become what you think." Thanks for having me here. And if there are any questions, I would love to discuss with you the last remaining 5 minutes. Thank you. Bitte.
Isn't this something like Hatha Yoga, what you did just now? The yogis, they go to that extent that where they can expand their energy to every new level with such kind of persistence and thinking of mind. So do you find anything similar to that kind of thinking?
Of course, it is in a way it is the same. Again, all that the Shaolin monks developed had its origin here in India. So they developed it in another direction. But in Shaolin Qigong, the Chinese, they call it Qigong. You heard about Qigong, you know? Qi is the energy, and Gong means the work. So it's working with energy, or Tai Chi. That's all the same. It's only that the monks of Shaolin, they really were fighting monks. So they were like soldiers. They the gurus, the yogis, they were no soldiers. I think that is the main difference. But the base was here in India, and Chinese extended it and developed it in another direction. But it's all about energy. It's all about energy. Just one single word to that topic, because it's very, very important. When I talk to people about energy, people immediately say, oh, there's something esoteric stuff, whatever. Without energy, there is no information. When I now talk to you, my words that reach you, that reach your ears, that will create an electric signal in your brain, and that will create an image. It's all energy. So the only way to influence and to be influenced is energy. If your iPhone, if your mobile phone has no battery, there is no information. So extending the energy and controlling this energy, controlling this power of mind, yeah, it's crucial. Anybody else who wants to talk to me here in the first row?
Can you explain why should we do this? Why?
What why?
Why should we apply this all to in our lives? Because, may I complete? Because people will do this only if they know that what is the reason behind that. If they had a reason, they would apply. So could you tell us?
That's an interesting question. That's quite an interesting question. I would not say you should. I mean, you could use it, you could use your consciousness as a tool. If you want to be successful in life, however you would define success, this is positive thinking. You know, so you could know, you could get some tools that will give you the success. If you do not want to block your success, if you want to win without fighting, if you want to avoid fights. Thank you for the question. That's a quite interesting question. I never got that. Okay, so I would say that is the main reason, because it's much easier in life if people avoid fighting with me, just because they see there is no reason to fight with him. It's not a good idea, so I better leave him alone. It's the same a tiger. You would fight, maybe you fight a small dog, but you would not fight a tiger. But the tiger doesn't need to fight with you, you know? So the tiger replies it, and you leave the tiger alone. It's quite simple. So that is why I say you should apply it, because it makes your life much easier, more straightforward, and yeah. Does this answer your question?
Thank you, Bernhard. So I would just like to know something more about your book. So yeah, across my generation, like I'm in the wrong side of 40s now, we have had this deluge of self-help books. So how different is your book from those books? So
actually, what I learned in China, and when I stayed in Shaolin, and what I learned from the Shaolin monks is a practice of Zen Buddhism. It's putting questions. So I don't tell nobody how to do it. I just try to guide the readers through questions. I give examples. I say, okay, do this and that, and I show that I know the answer, because in a way, I know how people react, and I try to make people think about themselves. That's the main difference. Usually, all those motivational books, people will tell you have to do it like this or you have to do it like that. For me, the main difference in all my books is that, and in my seminars and whatever, is you need to know why. You need to know why you react in a certain way, and that was the same how I wrote this book. I just observed myself. And somebody attacked me, and I felt bad. And I say, why do I feel bad now? Why do I do this person the favor of feeling bad? And I think that's the main difference. That every chapter has questions at the end, exercises, how I call that. I ask the readers to write down certain things just to see their own development, stuff like this. But you will never find do it like this or do it like that. I just tell you, if this is your answer, probably you could think in that direction. If this is your answer, you could think in this direction.
Discover fascinating things about yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything you discover just with those questions. You want to ask something?
There's one more question in the middle.
Hello, sir. Thank you for the information you shared. So I wanted to ask, you said that we should always live in present and we should not think much about future, or we should not live in future. So my question is like, but our mind is used to think about past or future. So how to stop that? Specifically thinking about the future, like how to stop that, and like how to like not think about the future much and stay in present.
Actually, the thinking about the future always starts when you feel that you lost control. You have no control. And in my opinion, the most important thing is to be conscious that you can control everything, because everybody can do that. It's only your decision whether you control it or not. And the moment I control things, of course, me the same. I need to think about my future. If I know I need to go to India, I need to buy a flight ticket. So I cannot appear at the airport and I say, no, I go to India. That doesn't work. But thinking about the future usually is about an uncertain future. How will the future be? How will things evolve? What will happen to my business, to my life, to whatever? So for me, the most important thing is to discover the strength to control it. It's up to you the same like it's up to anybody else to control how things evolve. The moment you see yourself as a victim, the moment you see, okay, the others, the politicians, whoever, they do it for me in a way, you cannot control it. The moment you overtake responsibility and they say, okay, but I am responsible for my life, for my future, I'm really going to shape it, you will not feel any fear anymore. That's in my opinion, that's the main thing, you know. To be very honest, it happened to me too when this pandemic came and stuff like this, and I said, okay, what will happen to my seminars? I cannot travel anymore, whatever. And then I said, just wait a moment, what's going on here? I mean, why should anybody else tell me what to do with my life? So I started up with online seminars. At the beginning, I said, oh, nobody will want online seminars. After that, I discovered, wow, that's pretty nice. I don't need to go anywhere. I have no cost for a hotel, no cost for a seminar room. I can do it with very few people because there is no cost, stuff like this. So I discovered all the advantages, and then I said, yeah, it's up to me what I do with it. So, and then I stopped worrying about the future.
How can we stop negative thinking?
The most important thing is that you identify negative thinking, and you can simply stop it. So what I do, and it's not a joke, what I really do is when I feel I start this negative thinking and the spiral that takes me down, and then no books will sell and I will go in bankrupt and whatever, I really imagine just doing it like this on the table and say, stop it, stop these thoughts. You can do it. That is the good thing with consciousness, because you know that you are in the spiral, you know that you are negative thinking negatively, and you just say, hey, stop it. Do not think that anymore. And if you practice that, you will see after a week, you will be pretty good in that.
What are the most important activities that a Shaolin monk performs in the temple?
The most important activities a Shaolin monk performs?
In the temple.
Actually, Shaolin now, to be very honest to you, Shaolin now is a museum. So when I was there in '96 for the first time, it was still an active temple. Now the old abbot died, and it is a museum. But what they used to do, they got up at 4 in the morning. So we started with exercises, with physical exercises. That is what they do about 10 hours a day. It is meditation, and it is training, martial arts training. And the idea of Shaolin monks, why they do all these martial arts is they want to clear their mind. So if you imitate a monkey, let's say, or a tiger or whatever, you become a tiger. So you cannot think about your business, you cannot think about the future, you just are concentrated to be a tiger, how to become a better tiger. So that is what they do hours every day.
Sir, what kind of food they eat in their daily life?
What kind?
What kind of food they eat?
Shaolin monks are the only Buddhist monk they are allowed to eat meat. Usually they eat many eggs, but not all of them do. Not all of them do, but they are the only Buddhist monks in the world that are officially allowed to eat meat. So some of them, they do eat meat. They eat many eggs. So 20, 25 eggs in the morning. And the usual Chinese food. It's like something like idli. That's what they usually eat, and they eat vegetables, but it's you know idli, no? Yeah, of course you know. And I found it there it's the same. And eggs, vegetables, usually vegetarian, but some of them do eat meat. If there are more questions, I will be at the book signing stand, and we can talk there. So you will find me. I will be here at the festival till 4:30. So just find me there, but we need to leave the stage now. Thanks once again for coming. You were a great audience, and have a wonderful day at the festival.
We just have, I'll allow one last question from Mr.
Actually, I'm just quoting something from what you have said just now, from the practical geopolitical viewpoint, how it is applicable. In 1965, we had a war with China, and we had a very bad experience. Our soldiers suffered a lot. It was kind of a loss for India. And since then, for the last 50, 60 years, as per the principles what you said, we have been the thinking in India is that China is an invincible country. They're very strong. They can beat us. So let's not go and trouble them, because that's the big trouble. They're very strong. And after 2014, the new government which came, they must have read your book, and they decided that we are going to show the Chinese that we are strong also. And they did that in Galwan, and since then the geopolitical situation has changed over here. So I think this is the exact thing what has been happening over here.
Yeah, you are what you appear to be. Once again, if I think that you are the strongest person in the room, I will not fight you. Even if you're the weakest person, makes no difference. People will simply not try. Nobody, I think nobody who survived fought a tiger. But nobody will fight a tiger, because everybody has the idea that the tiger is very strong. I think it is very strong, but you don't even try it. And that's exactly the same. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Thank you very much.